This week on the News at Rider. University Day brings school spirit to the forefront. Greek life dances the night away at sorority and fraternity formals. And comedian Justin McKinney captures students' attention and laughs. Welcome to the News at Rider. I'm Katie LaCourte. Rider University celebrated University Day this past Thursday, April 12th. It was the 50th anniversary of the groundbreaking of the Lawrenceville campus in 1957. Rider was located in Trenton for 99 years before moving to the Lawrenceville location in the 1960s. Traditionally, University Day is celebrated on or near April 13th, each year to recognize the day in 1994 when Rider officially achieved university status. The fun events to celebrate this year were no different, except bigger and better. Hungry students and staff celebrated University Day at Daly's, taking in the food as well as the sights and entertainment. Kelly Dixon has a story.
In celebration of University Day, Rider's Daly's Dining Hall offered a free luncheon where students and staff could enjoy free entertainment and great food. Faculty members described the origins of University Day.
Today is University Day. We celebrate the day that we went from being Rider College to Rider University.
University Day celebrates our 13th year of having been designated a university in 1994. We also celebrate on this University Day the fact that it's 50 years since the Lawrenceville campus was opened and where Rider moved from Trenton. And of course today also we award the Nancy Gray Award and to Karen Torsha, who's a terrific example of school spirit.
Students had a great time and felt that the luncheon was a great way to bring together the Rider community.
I'm actually a tour guide, so we get to brag about this kind of thing all the time, like University Day and stuff. It's such good propaganda for the school. It makes it so much more fun, you know what I mean? It breaks the monotony.
Karen Torsha was honored with the Nancy Gray Award.
It's a wonderful feeling. It's very humbling. Also, I'm in a very select group of people on this campus that have been recognized with the award over the last few years, so I'm extremely humbled and proud to be part of it.
Well, Rider sure has come a long way from its school colors being purple and gold, and we are definitely looking forward to next year's University Day festivities. From Daly's Dining Hall, I'm Kelly Dixon, Channel 20, News at Rider.
Thanks, Kelly. Students, don't forget that Daly's continues to provide entertainment throughout the school year. Check online and Channel 20 for updates. University Day also featured the 25th Annual Gender Studies Colloquium at the Swigert Theater from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. featuring essay works by students. Sean Rainey was able to check it out.
The 25th Annual Gender Studies Colloquium took place in Swigert Auditorium showcasing students' essays. I attended the Activism and Achievement section of this program, which is moderated by Dr. John Hilge. Jessica Shiowitz spoke first about the economic importance of women through the American Revolution.
Women held many essential jobs, such as farming. Historian Jonah Garniston stated that females became part of the agricultural labor force.
Lauren Dobrowski spoke second about Jane Addams and the development of Hull House.
She was the first woman to receive a Nobel Prize Peace Prize. Addams was able to accomplish her goals with the financial and moral support of her family, and also a variety of organizations. Addams was devoted to her parents, a dedicated student, and became more experienced as she traveled. She was a female advocate for suffrage and a pioneer social worker. She was able to create Hull House with the help of a large financial inheritance from her father.
Mandy Magnuson Hung spoke class about feminism and nationalism, black women and the failure of the movements.
Black women are lesbians. Because we were raised in the remnants of a basically matriarchal society, no matter how oppressed we may have been by patriarchy. We're all dykes, including our mamas. Audre Lorde said this in a 1980 interview that is published in the American Poetry Review. This quote acted as impetus for my research and resulting paper on feminism, nationalism, and the failure of the movements for black women. Now, if we judge this statement from a purely heterosexual viewpoint, it makes little sense. Lesbianism is erotic love or sex between women, right? Why would Lorde, a feminist and a lesbian, say all black women are lesbians?
I was able to speak with Ms. Magnuson Hung about what inspired her to write her paper about black women and the failure of the movement.
Well, I took a course with Dr. Hilji last semester, and we had to write a paper on some aspects of women in history. And as I was casting my net, I sort of realized that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to do something with gender studies, queer history, because that's what I'm really interested in. And as searching the internet, this quote pops up, this Audre Lorde quote pops up, and that's really, I wanted desperately to do something about that, and I couldn't quite make it work in my paper, but it did kind of spur this whole interest in nationalism.
Raina Lewis told me that she attended this event for extra credit, but received more than just a credit as she learned some valuable knowledge.
The one about African American rights, I didn't know anything about, like how they weren't part of the feminist movements because it was mostly white middle class women, and it was just fascinating.
This has been Sean Rainey, Channel 20, News at Rider.
Following the colloquium was the Baccalaureate Honors Program's Poetry Slam and Splat, featuring works created and read by students. Brian Persons has the details.
Thursday, April 12th was the date of the third annual Poetry Splat and Slam. Students heard different types of poems, and each student participant got to put their own spin on the poems they read. All student participants had to fill out a form and then were judged after each poem.
Well,
James Dickinson was able to explain how he started the Poetry Slam.
In recent years has been putting on a kind of poetry festival where spoken word and poetry is celebrated by students and faculty coming, reading their own compositions or compositions by their favorite poet. So this is the fourth time, I believe, we put this on, and every year it's grown in numbers and participation. So this year we had a very good turnout, lots of students, lots of participants and so on. And actually it really came to me, the reason I organized it is that many years ago I did a teaching exchange with the University of Westminster in London, and there, as part of the sort of student culture, sociologists actually put on a kind of annual poetry event, being England, of course, end of year celebration kind of thing. Bacchanal, it was England, so there was plenty of beer and wine with this event, and everyone came. Students read poems, faculty composed poems, and generally a chaotic and good time was had, and that's what got me behind this event, and DHP is the place for it.
One individual, Chanel Boynton, explains how her poem reached the audience.
The poem not only touched women, it touched everyone in the audience, because of course it was a mixture, and I think men now have a different outlook on the way women feel about themselves, and that nobody can really get a woman down. So I think the audience responded well.
After all the student participants had gone, an interesting performance climaxed the night. This has been Brian Persons for the News at Rider.
University Day featured student works of all kinds. The Senior Art Honors Thesis selected artists received recognition and gratification for their artworks by displaying their best work in the Rider University Art Gallery for all to see. Farrah Thompson has a scoop on this year's exhibition.
Friends and family have the chance to commemorate the artwork of 3 senior artists featured in the University Art Gallery. This year's Senior Art Honors Thesis highlights the work of Laura Griffin, Monica Wellborn, and Lindsay Amato. Besides deciding which pieces to include in the show, the 3 artists had to write their thesis paper. Griffin explains the complexity of this task.
It's difficult because it's a reflection on all 4 years of work that we have accomplished, and it's very introspective, and you got to think way back to 4 years ago when you were just starting out, and reflect on the paintings that you did at that time versus your work now and how it's changed.
Reflecting back on the past 4 years can be a difficult task for some people. Wellborn accepted the challenge as she still had some work to do before the show opened.
It was hard because I knew that I needed more pieces than I had at the time, but it did come easily because I enjoyed what I was doing, and I like the pressure of having to make more and keep finding out more about myself through painting.
Freshman year was the hardest for Amato to look back on, but she found it was easy to think about the artists who inspire her.
Well, it varies. Like, the paintings behind me are still lifes, mostly of flowers, so for these paintings it was Raoul Dufy, and it was really just trying to look at the rhythm of the flowers instead of, okay, well, am I getting the right value? I was kind of just looking at the rhythm in order to feel the rhythm in my own flowers.
After graduation, both Amato and Wellborn want to become teachers and paint on the side, but Griffin sees herself incorporating art into her profession in a different way.
I think what I really want to do is go into gallery managing or working in an art museum and just being surrounded by all that art.
The Senior Art Honors Thesis exhibition runs through April 22nd in the art gallery located on the 3rd floor of the Bart LeDuc Center. Both portraits and still life are portrayed through painting and drawing. For the news at Rider, this is Farrah Thompson.
In continuing the festivities long after University Day is over, Rider Community Scholars has planned the How Well Do You Know Your Roommate, Best Friend, Sibling, Faculty, or Staff, Boss, Greeks competition on Tuesday, April 24th from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the BLC Theater. There will be baked goods for sale as well as raffle tickets. To participate, contact Eugenia Daru at daru@rider.edu. Monday, April 23rd at 5 p.m., Sigma Phi Epsilon Fraternity will host the Cali March in memory of Gary de Vercelli beginning at the Franklin F. Moore Library. Registration begins at 4:30 p.m. and the march begins at 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. The march is designed to raise funds in support of a scholarship for the memory of Gary, as well as raise awareness on the dangers of binge drinking. Students are encouraged to provide a $10 donation for the walk. Also, students will sign the Cali Pledge that states, I pledge to 1. Serve as my fellow student's keeper and seek help for myself or others when needed. 2. Refrain from abusing alcohol and participating in harmful drinking games. And 3. Ensure that neither I nor any of my friends will drive under the influence. Sigma Phi Epsilon is hoping to have 1,000 students participate with a $10,000 goal. Students who are unable to make the event are still encouraged to donate by contacting Steve Klemchuk at klemchuk@rider.edu. The semester brings sunshine, flowers, and formal season for fraternities and sororities. I danced the night away to show how much fun these events are and how needed it is to just get away with friends.
It's like prom all over again, year after year, except it never gets old, and you're actually friends with everyone at the event. Fraternity and sorority formals are the biggest event of the spring semester for Greeks. Some students dress up to the fullest in gowns and tuxedos, while others go over the top. While each chapter goes off campus for their formal, some go away for the weekend for a mini vacation with their formal as the highlight. Greek students eat full-course buffets or sit-down meals and win awards based on their performance as a Greek during the past school year. The highlight, as always, is the dancing and, of course, being with brothers and sisters for a night or weekend out. Dan Steinberg, a member of Tau Kappa Epsilon fraternity, feels that formal is a great way to get brothers to reconnect.
Fraternity can actually take their time out, take a weekend out, and actually spend time together and bond. We truly bond here. We truly, show brotherhood, and we just have fun with each other.
I also had a chance to meet up with 3 sorority sisters from another school. They had varied opinions on spring formal.
I love getting dressed up, feeling special for someone else.
I love hanging out with my friends, especially with being as an alumni. I love hanging out with the friends I used to hang out with all the time.
A lot of fun. Sisters are my best.
In the end, spring formal is one of the most exciting events of the Greek semester, and as always, includes some very memorable moments.
Each fraternity and sorority have their formals in the springtime, and semi-formals a less dressed-up event in the fall. Due to the weather changes, Greek Week will be postponed to the following week, but because of scheduling conflicts, certain events will continue to be this week. Chapters should go to their Greek Week rep to find out about the new dates and times. The annual competition focuses on competitive events between fraternities and sororities. Greek students will compete in swimming and field races, lip-sync performances, and culminate in the crowning of Rider's 2007 Greek god and goddess. Watch out for Greek students as they try to build human pyramids and run around campus trying to win the title of 2007 Greek Week champions. Fraternity and sorority members will have the opportunity this week to take pictures for their chapter's composites. Members can sign up with their respective chapters for appointed dates and times. Hurry up and get a good time slot and sitting time. The Office of Campus Life is working to make weekends at Rider hotter than ever. This past Thursday, the Student Entertainment Council hosted comedian Justin McKinney from HBO and Comedy Central's Last Comic Standing. Nick Ballasy worked through the night's laughter to get an interview with Justin after the performance.
All right, Rider University, how you doing? This place is like right on the friggin' highway, huh, pretty much? I didn't know. I was driving, I'm like, I wonder what exit I should take. Oh, I guess this one. That's it right there. You know what I saw? I saw somebody hitchhiking. Let me ask you this. How did this ever become the sign for hitchhiking? You know what I mean? Because this means, hey, everything's cool. Everything's going as planned. Right? But if you're on the side of the road doing this, I don't think everything's going as planned, is it? You probably planned on having a vehicle at this time in your life. Maybe the sign should be this.
Now, with Last Comic Standing, what was your experience on that show? Could you describe kind of the process that you went through?
Basically what it was I wish the format was a little more, almost like American Idol, where you did your material and you were judged. It was they were casting a reality show to put in a house. So they were looking for characters. It wasn't all about what you did on stage. And so the way that they did it was more for a reality show of, they'd ask you questions in the pre-screen. What would it be like if you were with, 10 other people in a house? Would you get along with them? You know what I mean? They're looking for that kind of a stuff. So, but it was still some good exposure for me. But I wish the format of it was done a little bit differently.
So it wasn't as material based as you would have.
I don't
wished.
think no. They a lot of the weight went by who they thought would be funny in a house, who they thought would have conflict and that have storylines in the house. A lot of it they're based rather than just the stand up. Yeah.
And how did that play into ultimately what you've become as a stand up?
Well, I actually did Leno before I even did that. The first time I did Leno, then I did Last Comic Standing, and then I did Leno again after that. So that didn't really have much effect at all, just other than club work. When I go to clubs, people would recognize me, that kind of thing. From there, people would come up and be like, "I thought you were going to win the whole thing," and I'm like, "Yeah, what is?" Because it wasn't until you got into the house that you went head to head. Up until the house, it was all picked by the producers. It had nothing to do with a crowd response, like who the crowd liked, To
find out more about Student Entertainment Council events, log on to www.rider.edu/SEC. The Intercultural Greek Council will host their annual STEP show on April 21st at the Bart Luedeke Center. The event is open and free for all Rider students. The Student Government Association is hosting the Rider Roundup Bronc Buffet on April 27th from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. in Daly's Dining Hall. There will be a mechanical bull, cowboy hats, and country music by 92.5 WXTU. Remember to bring your Rider ID to get a good event and have a rousing good time. The Student Government Association discussed major campus issues this past Tuesday. Nick Ballasy was able to get the full story.
The main issue discussed at Senate was tuition increases for the next academic year. Tuition will be $25,650 plus room and board, bringing the cost close to $35,000. This is a rise of 5.9%.
What are we looking to do with this tuition increase? What can this tuition increase help us produce in the coming year? There's two things that OIT have felt very strongly about, and I believe it's in direct correlation with the conversations that Carol Contract has had with all of you, and that's to increase the bandwidth for the campus as well, so we'll get more wireless locations on campus. So there are the two things that we have on our docket for this year.
Laura Vendetta, SGA President-elect, offered her thoughts on the increase.
I mean, even the ideas and the plans that Jamie stressed in the Senate meeting have shown how they're going to affect students, whether it be with OIT, the new residence hall, and with the renovations of dailies. I think that letting students know where those changes are going to be made will definitely help students feel like their tuition's going to this university and to bettering the university, not just going to things they don't know about. But I think definitely over the past years, it's been a fair increase as well. It's inevitable for the tuition to increase just because of the society we live in, the economy, everything affecting us globally. I think it's just second nature for our tuition to increase. There's constant needs to raise the institution's demands.
For the News at Rider, I'm Nicholas Ballasy.
Seniors are still encouraged to participate in the 2007 Class Pride Legacy Campaign. The campaign is a long-standing tradition that graduating seniors work together to organize for their first major contribution to their alma mater. There are two options for students to donate to, either the Class 2007 project of the Van Cleve Alumni House outdoor patio or to the Rider Fund. Gifts to the Alumni House will support construction for alumni to come back for receptions and gatherings. Gifts to the Rider Fund will support numerous endeavors such as student financial aid, campus improvements, and technology upgrades. If seniors donate $20.07, you'll receive a Class of 2007 senior t-shirt. Donations must be received by April 27th, and the names of seniors who donate will be listed as a participant in the commencement booklet. Rider University closed at 11:30 a.m. last Monday, April 16th, because of worsening road conditions. Day classes and night classes were canceled. The Rider administration requests that students please drive carefully for the next week because of continuing problems on the roadways. Because of the downpour, the Tri-State area declared a state of emergency for New Jersey. The heavy rain and flooding resulted in difficult travels for everyone, including Rider students. John Schulter has more on this bizarre event.
Since around 1970, New Jersey has not seen flooding conditions quite like this. Many roads and backyards were flooded due to the severe rain received this past week, which made driving conditions nearly impossible.
We were driving down and saw the going to come over the bridge and didn't realize that the river had gone out. And obviously some other people didn't also realize that the water was deeper because they lost 2 cars here today. It's quite interesting. It's amazing how just a little bit of water can put the whole state of New Jersey into a state of emergency.
People were amazed to see the roads this flooded.
It's really scary, actually. But I don't know, we were going to come across until we saw this in this car.
Many took pictures and made a fun day out of the event. This resident of the town explains more about the conditions.
Oh, we came down early this morning, and the water was a foot higher, and it was really cool because the signs were all covered, and the whole parking lot's covered, and the road was all covered. It was up. The water was up to the guardrail. It was going over the sidewalk, and it was like up to your knees, and you couldn't even go over. And you couldn't, that white bridge, you couldn't even cross the white bridge. And where the dam and the locks are, the water was only like probably about 5 inches from the top.
There are lots of places flooded like this, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be an end to this soon. I'm John Schulter, Channel 20, News at Rider.
The 2008 presidential election has proven to be more intense than any precedent elections, and there has been a great amount of campaigning, especially in New Jersey, by the Democratic and Republican presidential hopefuls. Rider is doing its own part to help students become informed of national politics and current issues. On April 19th, Rider is proud to host the Great Debate featuring Terry McAuliffe, immediate past chair of the Democratic National Committee and chair of the Hillary Clinton for President Committee, and Ed Gillespie, immediate past chair of the Republican National Committee, will be on Rider's campus in a point-counterpoint debate in the Bart Ludicky Center at 7:30 p.m. The event is free and open to the public. The Lawrence Township Human Relations Committee, in conjunction with Rider University, is hosting the 2nd Annual Community and Culture Day on April 29th at noon until 4 p.m. at the BLC Cavallo Room. The day focuses on connecting and celebrating the different ethnic and cultural groups living in Lawrence Township. The event features different foods, Hawaiian songs and dances, ancient Indian music, Irish music and dance, Indian dancers, and the history of cultures in Lawrence Township. For more information, contact Keith Dewey at 609-896-0696 or at dewey@tcnj.edu. That's all for the news this week. From all of us at Channel 20, thanks for watching.